question, Addison. 877-310-2100. 877-310-2100. Colleen, welcome. What's on your mind today?
Well, I have a question for you, Herman. No one has ever spoken about this, and it really is a sore subject. I'll be 77, and I think it's about time that Donald or somebody talks about what they're going to do for the senior people. We haven't had a raise in Medicare. I have friends who are living on less than $1,000 a month, and that's terrible. They're old people. They have worked hard all their life, and everybody needs a raise. The cost of living has gone up, regardless of what the government says.
Right.
It has gone up. And I'd like to know what Donald intends to do with Social Security to help the seniors and increase it. Give us a raise. We haven't had one since Bush. Well, that 1 penny, but forget it. They can keep that. They need it. I'll hang up and listen to what you got to say.
All right. First, Colleen, you're absolutely right. Here's it. Donald Trump has stated, I can answer this one because we're only going to have one segment. He has said he wants to save Social Security. In other words, he's not talking about cutting Social Security benefits or anything like that. Secondly, what needs to be done is that formula that they use to determine the cost of living increase, that formula is flawed, in my opinion. Now, he may or may not be familiar with that or familiar with those details, but that's how you fix that. And I agree with your other point. I've seen it myself. The cost of living has gone up, even though the way they calculate the cost of living adjustment, I don't think that is an accurate calculation. So my recommendation to him would be have the folk take a look at that formula to reflect truly the cost that seniors are going to incur. That is a great question. I do know he has stated, and I'm going to hear it on the nightly news, that he wants to leave Social Security alone in terms of those people that are already receiving their benefits that they worked so hard for. You're listening to the Herman Cain Show.
Nobody covers the campaign quite like Herman Cain because he's been there. Herman Cain every day.
Man, oh man, to say that my listeners are informed and opinionated is an understatement. Thank y'all. This is some good stuff.
Now, Safe Touch Security Triple Team Traffic.
I-4 eastbound slow from US 192 to 535. That'll take about 15 minutes. I'm Ed Torrance, News 96.5 WDBO.
The 3 big things you need to know.
A Pokemon Go player is busted. He was playing with some kids. Why busted? Because he's a sex offender. The death of a Navy SEAL candidate has now been ruled a homicide, the family found out from public documents. And Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg is now apologizing for an anti-Donald Trump remark. More details coming up in the news at 11.
The Republican National Convention is next week, and Orlando's Morning News with Joe Kelly will be there live. Orlando's election headquarters is News 96.5 WDBO.
Friends, you know I believe we are headed for a recession in this country. If I'm right, you know your investment portfolio is really going to suffer. That's why you need to call my friends at ITM Trading and get some advice on buying gold today. Through the years, gold has served as a hedge against inflation and protection against the destruction of paper investments. What is our economic future going to look like? We are only going to know that for sure when we look back in the rearview mirror, and that will be too late. ITM Trading has been America's trusted source for precious metals since 1995. They have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Call them at 1-888-OWNGOLD or visit them online at itmtrading.com. Remember, you don't have to be a millionaire to own gold. They offer free shipping on purchases as low as $500. Speak with the precious metal specialist now. Call ITM Trading at 1-888-OWN-GOLD. That's 1-888-OWNGOLD.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-582-7585.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-582-7585. That's 1-800-582-7585.
Micro heater